Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. The best way is... If you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know? I want to tell you guys something. What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out about crypto. My name is Ben. We're talking balls.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, the greatest, the largest, and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. And on this channel, guys, nobody works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. And we're going to try to help you guys achieve financial freedom through crypto assets. My name is Frankie Candles, and I'm going to be your host today.
Let's go.
It is the Frank and TJ show today. Look at that. TJ, we are a whole minute early.
Yeah.
Look at us go. We come to you guys every single weekday at 11:30 or 11:29 a.m. And it is a cool 73 degrees in the studio today. Guys, we got a great show. We're going to be talking about some really, really good topics. Bitcoin, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Kind of moving sideways, but yeah, we got a great show tonight, guys. Or tonight. I'm so used to doing my own stream that I think it's 5:45. Yeah. But speaking of that, if you guys want to check me out, you can check me out tonight at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're into TA and trading and good stuff like that. But, guys, we have an awesome show today. Don't forget, again, to check out my YouTube channel, Frankie Candles, and also make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button on the BitBoy Crypto channel if you want Bitcoin to go back up. So, yeah, Frankie Candles, you guys can check me out here. As you can see, the other day we had the calf cam. If you guys are interested in seeing that calf reveal that was so long awaited, pretty interesting.
You guys have a lot of fun on that channel.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was saying this yesterday. We do so much TA. There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of technical stuff. It's very technical stuff. So we got to make it fun somehow. So sometimes you got to break out those calves because if Bitcoin's not pumping, you got to pump up those calves. So make sure to follow me at Frankie Candles. Also Frankie_Candles on all socials. And hey, new profile pic. Who dis? Look at that. Also wearing the same exact outfit right now. I'll try to reenact the.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, definitely check me out on Twitter. Up to 7,300 followers. I almost said subscribers. Don't forget to check out JPEG Junkies as well. And don't forget catching up to crypto. Ben's new book. Definitely go check that out. I think it's doing really, really well so far, right?
It's doing well on pre-orders. You can find it almost anywhere. We've got it live page here. If you just see at the top there, it says book on the BitBoy Crypto website right there. Yeah, so you click that, you can go pre-order anywhere, catching up to crypto. I think definitely on Amazon, that's the #1 place, Barnes & Noble, that sort of stuff. But if you want to know, if you're new to the crypto space and you want to know all the history, get caught up of everything crypto related, crypto assets now or previously up until now, that's a great book to check out.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the markets here. We have the market cap coming in at $995 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 39%, ETH at 19.7%, ETH gas at 14 Gwei. Also, ETH merge today, right? I believe.
Yeah, it's happening today, tonight, tomorrow. By the time we're live tomorrow, it will be complete. So yeah, it's happening. Let's actually go to Google real quick. Pull up
countdown.
Just type Ethereum merge, and it should come right up.
Countdown. Boom. Yeah, a lot. I know a lot of the timers,
just type Ethereum merge.
I know a lot of the timers are off by like a few hours.
There you go.
So 13 hours and 36 minutes for the merge. What are your general thoughts on this, TJ? I know everybody wants to know pump or dump, and we'll get into it a little bit more in the stream. But what are your general thoughts on this ETH merge? Do you think it's going to be a big nothing burger? Or you think it's going to be huge?
I mean, general thoughts on the merge. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday. Really the #1 thing I have to compare to, I know it's the biggest thing in the crypto. Really nothing's been done like it in the crypto industry ever. But closest thing we have to compare it to, in my opinion, is the Bitcoin halving, right? Where it's a major change to the issuance. It's a major change to what's rolling out. And generally, in my experience, what happened in 2020, everybody was talking about the halving. Everybody was waiting for the halving. Halving's priced in. This is, the price goes up right beforehand. And then the day happened, and it was like, Oh, okay, it happened, it's done, the halving occurred, and then we all just kinda went back to what we were doing, and
Mhm.
nothing really substantial happened for a few months, and then it slowly started moving up, and I tend to think it's gonna be pretty similar with this, where all the hype, all the interest, everything, like, the merge will happen, and then not a lot else will happen, and
Mhm.
everybody was like, "Oh, okay, well, this is what we were waiting for," right? And it's somebody said it well on Twitter today. They said, "It's the starting point, not the target." Like it's
Yeah.
from there that everything goes. That's
Right.
not the destination. So I would say it's probably going to be fairly anticlimactic when it happens, even though fundamentally it's huge.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love that you compared it to the Bitcoin halving because it's like, you think the halving, it's like, oh God, that the halving happens, we're gonna absolutely rip straight up, and that's likely not, obviously not how the halvings work. So I could see that playing out very, very similarly. I know a lot of people saying that they think it's gonna make Ethereum deflationary or at least close to deflationary, but
Mhm.
I don't know how much of a, like you said, of an instant impact this is gonna have. I think even maybe a potential dump on the news once people realize, like, hey, we're not going straight up, what's happening, could cause a little bit of a sell off. So I would generally agree with that. But let's go ahead and move on here, I guess, into the charts. This is weird. Let's.
Yeah, yeah. Let's bring on Frankie Candles for those charts. Hey, he's gonna be coming from the side wings. Hey, there he is.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a good day, as Bitcoin is kind of meh. But yeah, we got a lot of good stuff to look at on the charts today. So yeah, as you guys know, we've been watching some pretty key levels, and we've seen a lot of this stuff play out perfectly. If you guys watch the stream often, you will know that we've been talking about volume profiles a whole lot. And shout out to Tony D for
Hey,
the super chat. Says shout out to the Bit Squad,
there
guys.
he is, lounging in the background.
There he is. If you guys don't know, Tony helps me with my channel, and he is here in Atlanta. He flew all the way from New York. He brought the bagels. We got the fresh bagels in the office, so everybody's thankful for that.
Let's go.
But you guys will know we've been talking about volume profiles a lot, on this stream and on my channel. We've been talking about a lot. Very, very powerful tool to try to get key levels of support and resistance on your chart that can help you. Not only are they key levels, but the way that the volume is analyzed, you're able to kind of predict what happens if you break below or above certain levels. If you guys want to learn more about that, you could check my channel out. But we've been watching these key levels, and we were anyone watching my channel, we were expecting this dump right here, just based off technicals. We had a 4-hour bearish divergence. We were coming up to key resistance. Not only do we have a strong spider line right here, but we also had a local golden pocket, as well as some other forms of, we had some horizontal levels, technical levels of resistance. With that 4-hour bearish divergence and money flow coming out on the lower time frames, made for a pretty clear call to basically predict that this was going to come down. And where were we targeting? We were targeting the point of control right here at 19,771. And we were able to predict that that would be the target just because of how volume profiles work. And we got a perfect rejection of that local golden pocket, and we came straight down and almost touched that point of control perfectly to a T. But where is Bitcoin going today? We had this big drop, and now we are holding support above the point of control, which in my eyes, at least in the immediate short term, is a good sign. Now, we are kind of forming somewhat of a bear pennant here, and we will zoom into the lower time frames to kind of see what's going on there. But in short, we are holding above this point of control. If we break below this point of control, this is where I start to target the lows of the range, this value area low level at about 18,825. So if we lose this POC, maybe we bearishly retest this level as resistance, and then it would be likely that we come down to the value area low.
Got a question in the chat. Somebody
Yep.
was saying my point of control on volume profile doesn't match yours. Any reason why that might be happening?
Yeah. So shout out to Dr. Bellows. Yeah. So with the volume profiles, there's different volume profile tools. There's a fixed range volume profile where you select the candles that you want to analyze the volume on. There's also the visible range volume profile, which analyzes the visible candles on your chart. So as you zoom in and out of your chart and more candles come within visible range, it will analyze the candles that you can see on your chart. So it depends on, you know, if you want to get the exact same levels, you know, that exact same point of control as me, you would have to, you know, be analyzing from this, you know, the same candle range, right? So, and if you're interested in getting my exact levels, I do put all my charts in my free Discord. I share them. You guys can click on the link and look at my live charts that have all my levels on it. So you don't even have to find them. You could just look at my chart. I don't think you can manipulate, like you can manipulate the chart. You can't draw on it, I don't think, but you can see all those levels. So you can keep an eye on the levels I'm watching, but that's basically what it is. You know, maybe, you know, if I pull a volume profile, from say, you know, September 9th to the current price, and you pull your volume profile from September 1st to the current price, your levels are going to be a little different than mine. So that's probably why you're seeing something different. But again, if you want those exact levels, you can check out the Discord. I share all my charts for completely free.
Wrong
Oh,
button.
no.
Wrong
I'm
button.
back.
Wrong
Whoa.
button. Sorry.
Oh, I teleported.
Yeah.
I thought the camera died, so that's a good thing that it didn't. But yeah, so let's go ahead and dig in here, guys. Now, we do see here on the 2-hour, I'll just touch on this because I'm on the 2-hour. You do have money flow coming out. We did print a green dot here, but this VWAP is just flat. This thing does not look like it's going to give us much gusto, especially with that money flow coming out. Has me leaning a little bit bearish on the 4-hour, but something I want to point out are these higher time frames. We still have our weekly green dot printing with a trigger wave, right? So this is generally bullish. You have your double green dot here, which has marked bear cycle bottoms in the past, right? So we've marked bear market bottoms with this double green dot on the weekly before. And then we are starting to print a trigger wave right here. So with these anchor and trigger waves, typically, basically all it's showing is momentum moving to the upside. You also have your money flow starting to curve to the upside, and you have that second green dot right here printing. So this is a generally good sign. Now, this is not confirmed. This can disappear if we get a big drop down. But also on the 6-day, you're printing a green dot. The 5-day, you're printing a green dot. And on the 4-day, you have a confirmed green dot, however that VWAP is coming down. But with the 5 and 6-day with the weekly green dots, if these confirms, that would be generally bullish. Now, this 4-day starting to roll over here is making me a little bit nervous. So you want to remember, these are bullish signals, but they're not confirmed yet. So, you know, until they're confirmed, if they confirm, it would have me feeling a little better, but we do have plenty of time to have these disappear, but they are worth mentioning, and you want to remember that they're there. Now, coming down to the 2-day, your VWAP is coming towards that 0 line. Probably looking to print a 2-day red dot here, which would bring us down in the shorter term. And, you know, it's right here, we also have a daily red dot printing, which typically do bring us down at least, you know, doesn't mean we're dumping to 0, right? But it could mean that we, you know, we're most likely going to see some form of a move down. We also have money flow curving out, so that is generally bearish. Also, something you want to realize here is this momentum wave is pretty close to that 0 line. When you get these small waves, whether on the above the 0 line or below the 0 line, when they're close to that line and they're not a big tall wave like this, a lot of times it could result in a bigger drop down. So just keep that in mind, but generally feeling a little more bearish with that daily red dot printing. It does confirm in about 8 hours. So if that confirms, I would expect a move to the downside. Moving on here, your 12-hour confirmed red dot with your 16-hour money flow coming out as well. It's a little more on the bearish side. 8-hour looking to find a little bit of a bottom here. I was talking about this yesterday on my stream. We were getting bullish divergences on the lower time frames with the 4-hour VWAP starting to round off, showing that we could be finding a local bottom. And we actually, if we come to the lower time frames, we did get just that. We were talking about this on my stream. I was expecting to, you know, once we came below here, we were putting these 15-minute bullish divergences. You can see you have a low here with a higher low here, and then you have your low here and lower low here on your price action. That's a bullish divergence. Typically, you come up, and I was talking about yesterday, I think I put it in the Discord, I was expecting to potentially get a move off of these divergences to bearishly retest this horizontal level of resistance coming in at about 20,423. We came right up, started bearishly rejecting off of this, and now we are forming somewhat of actually an ascending triangle bearish pennant, you know, depending on how you want to look at this. Now, you do have money flow coming up on the 15-minute, which is worth noting for the short term. And you do have a green dot getting pretty close to print here. So my general thoughts here, guys, is if these higher time frame bullish signals, these green dots on the higher daily time frames confirm, it would have me feeling pretty good that we could potentially hold these levels and continue higher. However, in the shorter term, with that 2-day red dot looking to print very soon, and the daily red dot looking to print, or is printing right now, looking to confirm very soon, I think we may break this point of control. And if we break this point of control, that next level is going to be right here at 18,825. And now we're going to talk doom and gloom. You guys are going to hate me, but if we lose that value area low, we need a strong bounce, just like we got right here. We were expecting this strong bounce back up. We got it, and now we're getting this big correction down to the POC. I'm looking to, if we could hopefully hold 19,771, I think we can potentially get a bullish continuation with those higher time frame green dots. However, if we come back down to this value area low and we lose it, we come down to the 786 Fibonacci level right here, coming in at approximately 17,816. And that is our last hope, in my personal opinion. If we lose this, I do think that it's likely that we're going to break lower, probably find some support at about 15K. We do have a spider line down there. However, if we lose that 786, which is basically right where we bounced when we bottomed out at about 17,500, if we lose that 786, I would be expecting some real low numbers for Bitcoin getting down, or lower numbers for Bitcoin getting down there to that 14 to 12K range that everybody's been talking about. And even some people are talking about 10K, and we're going to take a look at that. We actually have a story about it. And in my own personal opinion, I'm going to show you guys on the chart when we get to that story why that's not impossible and actually would make a lot of sense if we wind up making lower lows. And again, for me, that line in the sand is that 786 Fibonacci level at 17,830.
So basically what you're saying is 17,830 critical level to hold. If we don't, you see it going lower, basically making a new low.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's the line in the sand for me to expect lower lows. And, if you go to the higher time frames here and we just look at some volume profiles here, you can see I have the VPVR and a fixed range here. However, you can see that this blue line is that 786 level. And if we lose that, I want you guys to notice this big, whoop, okay. Let me grab that brush. This giant gap in volume, right? And on both of these profiles, it's analyzing, similar price action here, but big gap in volume. You can see when we broke above this level into the low volume gap, you get that explosive rip up. There's nothing holding you back in here, right? So the same thing could happen if we come down to that 786 and we break it. You will be breaking into that low volume gap, and it would be a pretty quick ride. And, again, we do have a spider line at about 15K. However, that next big area of volume, that big area right here, is actually a point of control, and that's getting into about $9,500, getting close to that 10K range. So if we lose those levels, in my opinion, 14 to 12K would be the next likely place that we land and consolidate, but there is a point of control at about $9,500. So that 10K level is not completely out of the question. Yeah, and don't forget to smash the likes, guys. If you don't want to see 10K, smash the likes. But if you want to get 10K and get that cheap Bitcoin, also smash the likes.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got 3,000 people in here right now. There's no reason we can't get at least 1,000. One day before the merge, we got Bitcoin and stocks crashing. Everything, the economy's going to zero. If you can't like a YouTube video,
you know what? I'll do what I do on my channel, TJ. I'll bribe them.
Okay.
If we hit 1,000 likes on this stream right now, I will give away something really cool. Maybe a Frankie Candles hat, maybe a ledger, maybe an Arculus wallet. Who knows?
Hey.
But I will give away something special. We get 1,000 likes on this. I will give away something special on my next giveaway. We'll do something special for the BitSquad.
Love that. Real quick with this guy, we've got some questions in the chat, and I just wanted to hear what you have to say about this because I know you do a lot of TA. Somebody says, with the this is Aaron Grebkowski.
Right.
With the state of the economy right now, technical analysis, in my opinion, is useless. What is your response to that?
So great point. And I think this is something that a lot of people, a lot of TA people will just like fight till they're blue in the face. And I won't fight it, right? Because I say all the time, as soon as you get something like a black swan, right? Something like a Terra Luna incident like that, or, something like that thing that happened in March of 2020. When you have something like that, TA is 100% out the window, right? Now, I will say sometimes TA can see these things coming before they happen in a really weird, mysterious way. I'll never forget, recently I was in a short based off of a bearish divergence, all based off of technicals. And then DZ came in the room and he goes, "Did you see the Elon dump?" And my short played out perfectly, but I did it based off the technicals. I had no idea that news was going to come out. But absolutely, right? You want to be prepared, right? I always tell people right now, the macroeconomics are very unstable. So you want to realize, right? If the macro does not get better, it's going to affect crypto, even, and especially with the black swan events, stuff like that. The chart can say up, up, up. If we get some crazy black swan event, it's this TA is going to get completely stepped on. So great point.
Yeah, well, and they do. I would say they work together as well. Kind of the point you're saying. Like right now, a lot of people on a TA basis seeing us going much lower, right? People talking that 10 to 14 range. Now we get CPI numbers up again. People talking about another rate hike, which we'll get in a little bit later into the show. That pushes things back down, and then the TA tends to play out. So
yeah.
What was right? Did the TA predict the CPI numbers, or did the CPI numbers create the TA?
Right.
It's chicken and egg kind of stuff sometimes.
100%. And a perfect example is on before we got the CPI data yesterday, the day before on Monday, on my stream, we were talking about the bearish divergences and the money flow coming out. We were looking for a rejection off of that local golden pocket. And so I was calling for a drop down, and we woke up the next day, right? CPI could have gone positive, but look at that. It agreed with the TA, and it just dropped. So it is very weird. Sometimes the TA can call it before the news comes out. But with black swans and stuff, nothing's 100%. Another thing you want to remember is all TA is charting human emotion.
Yep.
It's all about psychology, right? You could put candles and numbers and indicators, but it's really just human emotion. So definitely important to remember, and that's why we pay attention to multiple things. I don't just look at the charts and bet 100% on the charts, right? You want to kind of, there's other ways you can gauge sentiment.
Well, it's a tool, it's a really good tool. That's why we use the TA. That's why we use indicators. That's why we look at the macro and things like CPI. I mean, like, perfect point. You got to look at it all, take it all into consideration. So yeah, we even got to look at what's going on Twitter to see what the latest news is. So let's get into some Twitter buzz.
Absolutely, let's do it. All right, Twitter buzz. All right. So this is Douglas. I can't even see that. My eyes are going. I turned 30 and I can't see.
Don't worry about it. I can't read it. Just read it off. It's Douglas Boneparth.
Boneparth. Okay. As long as the market goes up 1,600% today, I'll be okay. I love this. It's like you say that as you cry. It's like,
exactly.
I just need it to go up 1,600%.
Hey, Biomex with the super chat again.
Oh, shout out to Biomex. Thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Tony D, chilling backstage. #Candle Mafia. Let's go. Shout out to Biomex. We appreciate you, bro.
From Zero Hedge.
Okay, Zero Hedge says PayPal has confiscated funds from. Wow, this is really making me notice how bad my eyes are. PayPal has confiscated funds from one of our portfolio companies and refuses to explain why. How to rectify or return the funds. We will exclusively be accepting crypto for payments going forward. Monero payments clear in under 20 minutes and cannot be stolen.
Wow.
Monero. Are you a big privacy coin guy, TJ?
So I have mixed feelings on privacy coins. I think they need to exist. I think they're a very important utility for humanity. As speculation on investment, I think they have like I said, a certain utility that will always be there, a certain value that's there. That being said, I know it's not going to fit within the government and the kind of global landscape moving forward. So I don't really invest a lot of money there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Monero, Zcash, Pirate Chain, some of those, I'm happy they exist for humanity. If that makes sense.
I would agree. I don't really hold many stable coins, many privacy coins, but I 100% agree with you. I definitely think they have a place.
But to this PayPal story though, I mean it's going to be becoming a more and more interesting conversation when we see things. I mean, PayPal is a payments provider. They're going to be following government oversight, I guess you could say. And we saw it with USDC blocking different addresses that interacted with Tornado Cash. And no pun intended, but Tornado Cash has definitely set off a whirlwind of conversations and regulation and things of the sort regarding payments, blocking addresses, blacklisted addresses. And, it's sad to see that Zero Hedge is getting their stuff confiscated. And I'd hopefully they get it back because I never want to see that.
Yeah. Hopefully they get it back. And, Yeah, that, and also with the Tornado Cash stuff, that's interesting. We're actually going to get into a story about Tornado Cash. So yeah, very interesting. I've never used anything like Tornado Cash.
Yeah.
So yeah, very. I don't want to spoil it. We're going to get into the story in just a minute.
All right, we got one more tweet. Let's see.
Oh
this is
yeah, here we
Rich
go.
Dad, Poor Dad, right here.
I could just tell by the picture.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki. Now I will say this. I know he gets a lot of hate and stuff over certain stuff, but I will say this. I like Robert Kiyosaki in general. I will say Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean, that is a classic, absolute classic. And the reason I love that book so much is I think that it's a stepping stone for so many people to take a step in the right direction when it comes to kind of escaping, the modern day rat race or the modern day trap. It kind of teaches you about the difference between a paycheck and investing your money. So super important book. I don't want to. I want to be open. I'm not disrespecting Robert Kiyosaki at all. But let's go ahead and take a look.
Let's see what he's saying today.
So time for the poor to get rich. Who can hate on that? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETF, and real estate crashing as predicted. Middle class being wiped out. Silver moving sideways. Silver to stay at $20 for 3 to 5 years, then climb to 100 to 500. Everyone can afford silver, even the poor. Accumulate silver now. He loves to use the word poor and rich, obviously. Yeah. Now, with that, silver definitely moving sideways. How do you feel about silver? I don't hold a lot of precious metals. I will be honest. I know silver would be a little bit more attractive to people just because it's a little cheaper than gold. But how do you feel about that? Are you buying precious metals?
No, I mean, I don't blame anybody for doing. My brother's big silver guy. A lot of people, JP Morgan owns tons of silver. Everybody knows, and they've been accused of manipulating that market and holding the price at a certain point. And I'm sure that's what he's referring to right there, saying it's going to stay at this price for the next 3 to 5 years and then go here and here. I'm curious as to why he thinks the price will go to 100 or 500.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I'm sure he thinks it's based on manipulation from big banks and big holders of it. But to me, it's never bad to have any precious metals. I can never really fault anybody for saying, that's a sound money. And gold, gold I like more than silver. But silver, like he says, everybody can get access to it. I would say don't buy representations, buy the actual bullions that you can hold yourself. But if you're talking large quantities, like if you're somebody that has $100,000 and you're putting $100,000 in silver is more of a pain than you might think it is. You got to store it and safes.
Where are you going to put all that silver?
Exactly. So that's just my 2 shekels on that one. So.
Yeah, I love that. No, I would agree. I don't hold any precious metals or anything, but it's kind of something I've looked into. I would look more into gold, to be honest. But the cool thing about precious metals is you could invest in, you can wear it, right? So you can kind of invest it or get a nice gold chain or something, wear it, and you're basically wearing money. You can sell it and get, you'd have to be careful about, where you get your gold. That's my main thing is I would want to make sure I'm getting the highest quality stuff. So, but yeah, shout out to Robert Kiyosaki. Thank you for giving the world Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think we needed it. But
yeah, and when it comes to my thing with precious metals is anytime I look outside of Bitcoin, it's just really hard for me to find something that I'd rather put my money in than Bitcoin. Like right now, I'd rather put it all in Bitcoin. I'm picking 100%. Bitcoin over silver, put it that way.
Yeah, and that's my thing too, is like I would like to invest in precious metals, but again, I just think about crypto and I'm just like, I can put this money in Bitcoin, especially in a bear market, and like the return's going to be insane, right? Assuming that crypto's not going to be completely, banned or disappear off the face of the planet, which is not going to happen in my opinion. So,
well, speaking of Bitcoin, tell us how low it goes. Where's the bottom?
All right, let's see. Here we go. Let's move into the stories here. Bitcoin. BTC price clings to 20K as stocks lose the equivalent of 4 Bitcoin market caps. Absolutely insane. And yes, clinging on to 20K indeed. But we got one point.
Let's real quick. That's a great headline. I don't want to move on from it too fast. The stock market lost 4 of Bitcoin's market cap in the same time. So it's like people like to think that money is like Bitcoin. It is more volatile. It can have bigger swings. But when Bitcoin falls 10% and the stock market's fallen 3%. The amount of money that's flowing in and out is dramatically more coming out of the stock market. I think that's something for people to keep in mind. We were talking yesterday how fast things can still move up for Bitcoin. So if any of that money that's coming out of the stock market right now was to find its way to Bitcoin, say in the next 6 to 12 months, we could have some very explosive bullish action coming our direction.
Absolutely. I love that you brought that up because it also puts into perspective how much money is out there that can come in, right? All this money in the traditional markets, stock market loses, I mean, what would that be, about $4 trillion? Loses all that money. It just gives you kind of perspective that how much money is in these traditional markets that could potentially move over into crypto. So I love that you said that. Shout out to there was a super chat. Yeah. Shout out to Stanford Mineco LLC. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. For Master Frankie, let's go. I only watch TA from Frankie and the Crypto Lifer. Hey, those are two pretty good choices. I can't lie. But let's go ahead and move on here. $1.6 trillion in United States stock market losses pressure crypto markets, with BTC price action coming full circle to linger near 20K. Yeah, talk about going round trip. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView followed BTC USD as it hit lows of 19,870 on Bitstamp. It's worst since September 9th. It's worse since a few days ago.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's move down here a little bit. Tech. So I just want to read this tweet. Tech sell-off on Tuesday has been particularly costly for Apple, world's most valuable company, lost $154 billion in market value, a wipeout that ranks among top 10 worst single market value losses in U.S. stock market history.
Right.
So absolutely a horrible day.
So yeah, just for perspective, again, to compare to crypto, that's basically all of Ethereum.
Right.
That's complete. Ethereum's at 100. You said they lost 154.
Yeah, 154 billion.
Ethereum's at 195 right now. So that's basically the entire market cap of Ethereum.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Again, just shows how much money is in these traditional markets. The U.S. dollar consequently increased in strength, with the U.S. dollar index, or the DXY, surging back towards 20-year highs. If you guys watch my channel or even the morning stream when I come on and do TA, we look at the DXY all the time. Just another thing that you can keep an eye on, other than the crypto charts, to try to predict what this thing is going to do. At the time of writing, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. I forgot to do that.
Thank you. Yeah.
At the time of writing, cross market crypto liquidations totaled $355 million, with September 13th forming one of the largest long liquidation events in recent weeks. So yeah, absolutely insane. But I think it, Bitcoin clinging on to 20K, obviously, like I said, I just said that, one of the really important levels that we need to hold, in my opinion, to continue bullish action, we really need to stay above 20K. And then again, if we get down to the 18s, it starts to get really risky and those lower lows start to look imminent. But this really does put into perspective, again, how much money is out there, right? Like, do you remember what the actual all-time high of the total crypto market cap was? Somewhere near the top.
I want to say 1.5 trillion, if I had to guess. I know Bitcoin hit about $1 trillion, and we can pull it up, but I think it's around 1.5 trillion.
Yeah. So even if you're anywhere in that ballpark, you can just see, when we just lost 4 times the Bitcoin market cap, and Bitcoin's at 990 something billion right now. All that money coming out, like, we just need a little piece of this. We get a little piece of that pie into crypto, over this bear market or into the new cycle. We can see price get pretty crazy.
I'm sorry, it was actually closer to 2.8. So it hit 2.5 trillion, 2.8, somewhere between $2 and $3 trillion, basically. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Definitely, plenty of money out there. I just want to, we're just getting started here, is what I'm trying to say. As soon as we start to get a little piece of that pie, I think things can go absolutely nuts. But moving on to our next story, Bitcoin buying interest fades as investors wait for a potential bottom. And I was kind of excited to look into this story because, I think a big narrative right now, or a big, everybody's talking about, I'm waiting for the bottom. I'm waiting for those lower lows. I'm waiting for those lower lows. And obviously we can get those lower lows. But interest is fading, right? So, when people are leaving, you know, this happens in bear markets. Everybody kind of loses interest, right? We get the big drop downs. Everyone gets scared out. Then we just move sideways. It bores everybody out, which is kind of the phase I think we're in right now. You know, if we're not on the verge of a massive pump or dump coming in very soon. So, you know, everybody's waiting for that bottom. They all lose interest. And then by the time the bottom happens, if we do go lower, they're going to come in on the way up, and they're going to, you want to stay in the bear market, guys. I always say this, double down on your research right now. If you're watching this stream, you are winning. You are here in the most important time. If you're looking to change your life with crypto, and, you know, build generational wealth, and you're still here when most of all retail is gone, you are going to win in the next bull run. And all these people are going to come in and be like, oh, you got lucky, right? No, you had the discipline and the ambition to stay interested when nobody else was. But let's move into this article here.
Can you push? Yeah, perfect.
Bada boom. The total social volume analyzed stands at 94,862, with the terms buy, buying, or bought accounting for only 5% at 4,700 or almost 4,800. And then you can see this sentiment. This is pretty cool. If you guys don't know what sentiment is, basically they do like on-chain analysis, social analysis, which is really, really cool. I would like to start doing a lot more of this on my channel because, again, there's a lot of things you can look at to try to predict these markets. And, you know, when we had our first peak in 2021, and in my opinion, that was the real peak of the bull market. If you were watching just the Google search analytics, even if you weren't using sentiment or any advanced analytic software, anything like that, and you were just looking at the Google trends, you would have seen that, you know, interest was really, really peaking off in 2021. And when we came up in the next, that second top that we had, when we hit that all-time high of 69K, you know, social interest was nowhere near where it was in 2021, which is that is one of the things that makes me think that first top that we had in 2021 was the actual top, and that was the beginning of the bear market. So very interesting to see. I'm very interested to see how this all plays out. But continuing on here, the latest trend appears to be different from the historical trajectory, where investors buy Bitcoin when the price falls. In this case, it can be assumed that investors are projecting a further collapse in Bitcoin's price before buying. And you want to be careful with this, guys, because, you know, everybody calls for those lower lows. If you don't get them, you're going to miss the boat and wind up buying on the way up. And I always say I get PTSD when people are like, I'm waiting for the lower lows. I'm waiting for the lower lows. I get the PTSD of everyone being like, I'm waiting for 100K. I'm waiting for 100K. Doesn't mean we can't get the lower lows. I'm just saying it reminds me, it definitely reminds me of the 100K thing. And, you know, a lot of people thought it was going to 100K. So, you know, just want to, you want to try to use history, you know, same thing with the Luna thing. You know, you feel that panic during the Luna dump, right? And it reminded me of the 2018 bear market. And I'm like, this feels like a bear. Like this is probably, you know, one of the biggest drops we'll get in this bear market if we're not going to come lower. Even if we do come lower, definitely going to be a majority of that dump in the bear market. So cryptocurrency analyst Willy Woo has suggested that Bitcoin is yet to bottom based on historical trends, and then cost bias of short-term and long-term holders. You could see here in all the previous bear markets, we came all the way into the purple here. And then, you know, this was the 2013, 2014 run. You come into the bear market right here. We were in the purple down here. And then in 2017 and 2018 cycle, we came down over here in the red, come down over here. We dipped into the purple, and we have just not quite gotten there yet on this chart. However, there's other charts where we are in that zone, right?
Yeah,
so
that's an interesting one. That's almost like a revised new pool. I mean, new pool is net unrealized profit loss. That's just pure cost basis of short-term and long-term holders. It's pretty interesting. And that's consistent with what we're saying on this channel as well. Based on history, you know, the bottom should be coming up in November, you know, so we haven't hit it yet. And, you know, you can say technical analysis, you can say macro, you can say history, halvings, all these different things, kind of like what we were talking about. You have to consider them all when you're looking at prices, but it's all starting to line up. You know, now people are, and we're going to, I think, talk about rate hikes and some of that kind of stuff. We're getting towards where now people are thinking of 0.75 or even a 1% rate hike coming up. That could definitely push things down to bottom us, you know, right around midterms.
Yeah, and I've looked at this extensively on my channel, just kind of comparing the cycles to each other. And there are some things, right? I go through both cases, right? The case for the bottom being in, and then the cases for potential lower lows, and we kind of compare evidence. But you know, we haven't come down, you know, to that 85% or even, you know, we're still kind of, you know, pretty far away from that, you know, 80 to 83% correction that I would expect due to logarithmic regression and just the market maturing and not getting those super drastic drops. So I would expect from the all-time high to the bottom in this cycle to be a little less than what it was in the previous cycles, right? So we had an 86% correction in 2013, 2014. Then I think it was like an 84-ish percent correction in 2018. And then, you know, so I would be expecting, you know, something like an 82, 83% correction, maybe an 81% correction, but we're not just there yet. So, you know, that is one thing that could point to potentially getting that one last leg down. In short, guys, if the bottom was not at 17.5, I think it's coming up very, very soon. And I think it could happen very, very fast if it's not already in. So moving on here, an overview of Bitcoin shows that the asset is still correcting, trading at 20,300 by press time, dropping by almost 10% in the last 24 hours. So yeah, again, this chart is showing that the bottom may not be in, but you want to remember there's a lot of other things that are showing that we are, if not at the bottom, at least in the zone where the best time to accumulate is. So, you know, I can't tell you guys what to do because this is not financial advice, but I have been personally accumulating at these levels. We're below the 200-week moving average. We have a lot of these other on-chain charts showing that we are, if not bottomed, very, very close to bottoming, or at least in a zone where it would be a very good time to buy. Even if we drop a little bit more, you're not going to hate yourself, you know, most likely for buying at these prices. Shout out to Unforgettable Name. Thank you for the super chat. Says 1,000 likes, another 1,000, and I'll add an NFT. That's the Candle Mafia trying to give away stuff to their own community.
Oh,
guys.
nice. Gotta love that.
So
we got 1,200 likes in here right now. Yeah, another 800 is going to be a lit stream on Frankie Candles.
Yeah, let's
tonight.
go. 2,000 likes.
Yeah,
and I will give away two things. And yeah, we'll give away something crazy for 2K likes. Let's go. Run it up, baby. Okay, moving on here. Bitcoin must hold this level or risk falling to 10K. Curious to see what levels they're talking about here. But yeah, we're going to take a look at this. I've looked into this. I'm going to bring up the chart for just a second to show you guys, again, when I kind of teased it before, why 10K might not be unlikely. Since the market, let me zoom in. Boom. Yeah. Since the market continues to remain in a bearish trend, there are levels that Bitcoin must maintain above to keep such high prices. Otherwise, it risks falling more than 85% from its all-time high, which in that case would be very bearish, right? If we start losing, you know, we start correcting, you know, 90%, that's where I really start to get a little bit worried, you know, about, you know, where this thing is going to go. And I think at that, you know, if we start breaking $10,000 at that point, I am thinking there's probably something crazy going on in the world. We're in some kind of crazy multi-year recession or depression. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But continuing on here in the interview that was carried out by Daniela Cambone for Stanberry Research, the financial analyst explained that Bitcoin is likely to reach $40,000 if it maintains strong momentum. However, there is still a high chance that the price will reach the dreaded $10,000 if it fails to hold the $17,000 to $18,000 level. Very similar level that I was talking about between that value area low at about 18,000 and change and that 786 fib level at about 17,000, I think 500 around there, right? So very, very similar levels that we are looking at. Moving on, says relief rallies such as the one currently being experienced by the markets have always led to profit taking, which increases the selling pressure in the market. Glassnode points to this in its report, where it notes that there is profit taking at the present level, much like what was experienced back in June, bringing the loss dominant regime to a low 58 cent or 0.5. Is that 58
Yeah,
cents?
I think it's an index. I think it's 0.58.
Okay, gotcha. 0.58, putting it firmly in bear territory. So yeah, you guys want to also remember, you know, I brought this up, you know, when we were in the beginning of the bear market. Any big pump that we get, guys, get ready for everybody to be screaming for 100K. Now, we were looking at levels because you want to be prepared in either situation, right? I think people get that flip-flop. Like, you have to be bullish, and that's it. If you get new information that looks bearish, you just have to stay bullish because that's what you picked. And that is just not the way to do it. You're going to get wrecked like that. You don't want to have your feelings involved. However, you know, if we keep bullish momentum, we were looking at targets between 38 and upwards of almost close to $50,000. And people probably see that and they're like, why are these people talking about a $40,000 to $50,000 Bitcoin or even a $30,000 Bitcoin? It's because if we continue that momentum, I mean, these people are calling for about 40,000. It's not far off to what we were looking at on the stream just a few days ago if we continued bullish momentum. And then again, the levels they're looking to hold, very, very, very similar to the ones we are looking to hold. And I do just want to pull up the chart here for just a second, just to show you guys again that point of control. Now we are below. Once we topped off here, we broke below the value area high. And once you break below the value area high, it is likely that you come down and visit that point of control. That's just how volume profiles work. It doesn't mean you're 100% coming down here, but if we did come down here, it would make a lot of sense. And again, just to show you, 17,800 is that fib level, that 786 fib level, very close to that $18,000 to $17,000 range that they're talking about. And again, you can't fake the volume. There's no volume under here. Nothing holding you down, nothing holding you up, right? So if you break that level, probably gonna be a quick ride down to the technical support of between 14 and 12K. And then, once you're in that range, you just need a little wick down to that POC and boom, you're at 10K.
So that line, that hard white line going all across, that's 10K or what's that?
It's 9,500. So it's not exactly 10K, but again, you want to remember that price action's messy. Just because, if people are calling for 10K doesn't mean it has to go exactly to 10K.
What is this right here? What's that line?
This right here?
Yeah.
So this is the volume.
Yeah, well, I know, but what's the price right there at that volume?
Oh, the price is 11,500.
11,500.
So yeah, very, that's the range. And even if you get rid of the volume profile, guys, you want to realize that if you just, grab your good old drawing tools and you draw the technical support that you see here, this is where I would draw it to, between, bring it right here. You have that 14K right here. That was our fake little 2019 bull run, would act as a little bit of support, right? So you have support here. It would be support on the way down, but you have the resistance here, which would act as support as we're on our way down currently. And then you have support down here. And this is that basically 14 to 12K range, which I think, I'm just going to bring this up to 10K. So yeah, 10K right there, you could see we bounced almost perfectly off of 10K right here before coming up in this bull run, right? So this could be the likely range. It would make a lot of sense. The POC is very, very close to there. So technically on the charts would make a lot of sense if we come down there.
I agree.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on here. Markets steady after worst day for U.S. stocks since June 2020. Let me Stonks. Yeah, it's too funny. Crypto ruined stocks for me.
Yeah,
sure.
right.
I mean, it's like, I will say, like, in the beginning when I started getting into all of this, obviously I did start with stocks, but I am so happy that I found crypto so soon after that, because it was a bummer. Like, the stock market is closed. The stock market closes and then crypto opens up. I find crypto, it's 24/7, never sleeps. I absolutely love it, guys. I'm from New York, the hustle and bustle city. You know what I'm saying? I don't like sleeping. So when I found crypto, I was, it was over. I'll
take crypto over stocks any day. That's
100%. And not to mention that, it's 24/7, but also, who wants 10% a year on average when you can get 10x in a day? Obviously be responsible with your investing, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig in here. Shares in Europe were mixed. Germany's DAX dropped 0.2% in early trading, while France's CAC 40 was flat. The FTSE 100 or UKX in London was 0.7% lower, while Italy's benchmark index rose 0.7%. Annual inflation eased for the second straight month, but also remained stubbornly high, with prices up 8.3% year on year.
Yeah, it's rough. Oh, you can read that last one if you want to.
The annual rate of inflation in the United Kingdom also dipped in August to 9.9% thanks to falling gasoline prices. Shout out to gas, but rose 0.5% on the previous month. And stripping out energy and food costs, annual UK CPI edged up to 6.3%.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, this is some of the stuff when we talk about the macroeconomic environment and how around the world, obviously, things aren't great right now. We've been inflating, all these central banks all around the world have been printing money like crazy for the last several years. That's why we see rampant inflation. And, it's sad that we're celebrating 8.3 as being less inflation. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still a ton of inflation.
Yeah.
And like, don't get it confused. Prices are going up on everything across the board, and that's not going to stop overnight. And these rate hikes, they're causing a lot of pain across the markets. They're wiping a lot of money or unrealized money or money, you could say, off the tables. It's just paper money. But that's the environment we're in of easing and tightening. So
Yeah.
I see another rate hike coming. I see mortgage rates getting hit, the real estate market getting hit, and more pain before it gets better, which is what makes. And then you go look at the chart and you see nothing there holding up Bitcoin, which is what makes us feel, yeah, it could go to 10K. Stocks could fall a lot further, which what you pointed out earlier, great opportunity for those that are saving and investing and buying and accumulating right now in down markets. When there's blood in the streets, that's when you want to be accumulating. And there's definitely blood in the streets right now.
Yeah.
And what looks like more to come. So there's more on the real estate stuff coming. We're starting to it lags behind the moves that are being made. So I say if there's another 1 point rate hike on the Fed, that will transfer into mortgage rates very quickly. I know we're pushing 6.3% right now.
Yeah.
That's brutal for the United States. People can't afford to buy houses. And we were having a real estate meeting the other day, and it feels like in a lot of ways, the American dream of home ownership, and which property rights really is freedom in a lot of ways, feels like it's dying right now. Is how I feel.
That's absolutely right. And, inflation eased for the second month, but still stubbornly high. I think they said it really good in this article. It's like, and I think this is the first time in a while that, like, a lot of the younger generations are actually witnessing how inflation is affecting everyday life with the gas prices, and just everything becoming more and more expensive. I did see somebody chatted that stocks are for people who don't know what inflation is. I like that. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And again, like, to actually feel the effects, I remember being younger, during the 2008 financial, I don't want to say collapse, but, the recession. And it's like, your parents are kind of like, hey, like, things are going to be a little bit tight, but, you don't really feel that as a kid. But now it's like, you see this stuff, you see the gas being absolutely insane, prices rising. I go to get groceries even, and I'm just like, how did I just spend $150? I have like 2 little bags.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But moving on here, speaking of real estate, U.S. mortgage interest rates topped 6% for the first time since 2008.
Yeah.
Yikes. So moving on here, the average interest rate on the most popular, let me zoom in for you guys, try to remember that every time. The average interest rate on the most popular U.S. home loan rose above 6% for the first time since 2008 and is now more than double the level it was 1 year ago. Mortgage Bankers Association, or the MBA, data showed on Wednesday. The average contract rate on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage rose by 7 basis points to 6.01% for the week ended September 9th, a level not seen since towards the end of the financial crisis and Great Recession. This article is going to put some fear on people.
Yeah.
Move that over a little bit. The MBA also said its market composite index, a measure of mortgage loan application volume, declined 1.2% from a week earlier and is now down 64% from 1 year ago. Its refinance index fell 4.2% from the prior week and was down 83.3% compared to 1 year ago. The impact of higher interest rates is being felt across the housing sector. New home sales plunged to a 6.5-year low in July, while home resales and single-family housing housing starts are at 2-year lows, but housing prices remain elevated amid a critical shortage of affordable homes, making the housing market collapse unlikely. Which is, TJ, I know you have experience in real estate.
Yeah, it is different. So that's what I have mixed.
Like, comparing it to 2008 is.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about what it says there about what. I mean, it depends on how you define a market collapse, I guess.
Gotcha.
So, like, I would say we're not in the same position where we're going to see as a dramatic effect on the real estate market as we did in 2008, 2009, because there was so so much more money tied up in subprime mortgages and in securities based on subprime mortgages, and that pretty much wiped that system out. Now a lot of it's based on college debt, as we
Right.
know, and that's parked, and they're going to be using that for a while. But the real estate pricing, I think it has been inflated, and it will adjust and correct just like a typical market. So it went up and over. We're going to see interest rates go up. Typical everyday home buyers, now it's going to be very hard for them to afford, like it said, affordable homes. You know, the days of $200,000, $300,000 houses, which still is expensive to a lot of people. You know, you're getting to where it's very, you're spending $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 and getting less and less home because, and then now that the interest rates go up, you're not going to be able to afford to make those payments. So what that happens, people then stay in their current home, which the real estate market affects so many other things when it comes to mortgage rates, when it comes to home repairs, when it comes to renovations and, lumber and building and windows and all sorts of different things. So it will affect the market, but I don't think we'll see it as much as bad, and it's a lot more evenly spread, whereas before it was very concentrated in like Florida and Arizona and California and that sort of stuff. So it's going to affect the markets. This is the effect of money getting tighter. When the Fed gets tighter, you see mortgage rates spike up. I think they'll come back down a little bit in a few months. Then they'll do another rate hike. They'll go up again. A lot of people in the chat referencing in the 80s, we experienced teens, mortgage rates in the 15, 16, 17, 18s. That's a result of coming off of the gold standard because the economy was in a really bad position. We've been printing ever since then, and we're starting to see some of the effects of basically rampant inflation. So at some point, they're going to have to rein things back in, I think, and go back to quantitative easing. But the question is when and how much pain first.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm from New York. So, I came down to Georgia and I was like, oh, we get good deals on houses. And now, now not looking so good. But I was curious to hear your take on that, TJ, because I know you have experience and comparing it to things like the Great Recession and the, 2008, that's going to scare a lot of people.
It is. Yeah, it is scary. You should be scared. The real estate market is definitely toppish. It just feels like they're using this opportunity to put it out of reach for the everyday person, and the hedge funds are coming in and scooping it up like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And people are going to be holding on to their houses. But moving on here, U.S. Treasury. I'm very interested in this one. U.S. Treasury Department users will need a license to withdraw funds from Tornado Cash. Now, if you don't know what Tornado Cash is, it's a mixer, which is essentially maybe you could explain it a little better, TJ. But basically, it kind of mixes up your crypto, so it makes it it's a way to kind of hide stuff. And there's been problems with people laundering money through it. It's kind of a gray area with the law as well. So maybe you can just
I would say the law is coming out and trying to not make it a gray area, and they're pretty much saying it is money laundering. Anybody that participates in that is trying to obfuscate their transactions for nefarious purposes. Is that the truth? I don't necessarily think so. I think a lot of people do use them because they just want to maintain privacy. But at this point, basically the way Mixers works, you send your coins, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, into this piece of software. It breaks it down. Like, say, if you want to use this is an Ethereum mixer, but we'll just use Bitcoin for an example. Say you sent one Bitcoin in, it broke it up into thousands or millions of Satoshis, and they all get shuffled around, and then all those Satoshis get rolled back up into one new Bitcoin. You've got a clean Bitcoin. It gets sent back to you, and then you can use it without anybody knowing where it came from and what the chain of custody was prior. That's basically the essential purpose of a mixer. Tornado Cash has been one that existed for Ethereum. There's been a lot of news and publication around it, and it's creating quite the stir. I know Coinbase is defending some individuals right now that are involved in some of that stuff, and it's calling into question really freedom of speech, because software in the past has been a freedom of speech. It's calling into question somebody who creates a technology or a software being liable for the way people use it. I mean, it's going to create a lot of precedent as things go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically like bamboozle, like a crypto bamboozle. Like, whoa, look over here. Whoa, oh, which Bitcoin was mine? I don't know. But moving on here, let's get into the article. On September 13th, the U.S. Treasury Department published a guide. Let me zoom in here. Published a guide with a series of steps for U.S. citizens to follow in order to withdraw their funds from Tornado Cash. Per the Treasury Department's guidelines, U.S. users of Tornado Cash must apply for a specific license from the OFAC in order to withdraw any funds deposited on Tornado Cash before August 8th. So now they're basically saying, like, fine, if you are using it, we got to figure out who you are and why you're using it before we give you your money back. Users will also be required to provide, at a minimum, information about their transactions, including the wallet addresses of both the sender and the beneficiary. Moving on, according to the OFAC, citizens can interact with Tornado Cash's open source code without violating government sanctions. This intends to end weeks of speculation and debate about the sanctions extent and how they collide with free speech. So you can still interact with the code, which is pretty interesting. Vitalik Buterin and Paul Grewal, Coinbase's chief legal officer, claimed that they used Tornado Cash because of its anonymity when making transactions, arguing that the platform allowed them to send donations to Ukraine without falling victim to Russian hackers or the country's government. So this is the gray area, right? It's like, I can use it for nefarious purposes. However, I could also use it, I'm trying to do something good, and Tornado Cash will help me. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. Again, I've never used Tornado Cash.
Let me put it into, like, let's put it into example where people can kind of wrap their heads around it. Like SMS text messages, right? Somebody created the SMS protocol to allow you to send a text message from one cell phone to another cell phone. So you and I, we just text back and forth. We chat it up. We might be going on vacation. We might be doing calf exercises together. We might be looking at crypto. You know, who knows what we're talking about? We're just regular guys talking about regular stuff. Somebody else, they might take that same SMS technology and be sending messages to facilitate organizing a crime.
Right.
Does that make the person who made the SMS protocol liable for the crime those people are plotting? No, I don't think so. And it doesn't make us bad for using SMS to communicate? No, I don't think so. We're just using a technology and we're not doing anything wrong with it. The difference is the government says we need to know what everybody's doing at all times because we're the only ones who can say what's okay and what's not okay. And that's where you get into a lot of the, debate about right and wrong. And, I lean more on the libertarian side where I'm always pushing for less government oversight, less government say in what is right and wrong. Let the market decide. But, that's where, you're going to get a lot of debate in those subjects. And if you're in a seat of government, you're always going to be pushing for more control, more government. And that's just the way it works.
Yeah. Very well said. It's again, the gray area. I think we're going to see a lot more stuff like this as crypto regulation comes into play because there's a lot that is, just a gray area. I love that comparison that you just made, TJ. That definitely simplifies it. Definitely a weird concept to understand. Shout out to Aaron, says Frankie Candles speaks very well and professionally, right as I mess up the word anonymity. But shout out to you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So moving on, this is, here we go. Mr. the infamous Do Kwon. Court issues an arrest warrant against Terra's Do Kwon as Luna nosedives 40% in 2 hours. Nothing goes up forever. Let's see. 4 months after the widely publicized collapse of the Terra Luna platform and its Terra USD or UST stablecoin that initiated a chain reaction across the cryptocurrency market, the CEO of Terraform Labs is facing arrest along with a handful of other individuals. Indeed, a court in the South Korean capital has issued a warrant for Do Kwon and 5 additional persons, citing violations of the country's Capital Markets Act, according to a text message from the prosecutor's office. Bloomberg's Hoo-yeon Kim reported on September 14th. So yeah, they put travel bans on these people as well. So I'll just keep going here. As a reminder, Terra's co-founder is facing allegations of fraudulent activities after the devastating $45 billion crash of the Terraform Labs ecosystem that started a series of unfortunate events, devastating the entire crypto sector, not to mention the people that just had all their money disappear that had their money on their platform. Which is, I know a lot of people in chat were affected by this. I know we were affected by this. Absolutely insane. Finally, gonna try to, I guess, try to get to the bottom of this. But yeah, they put. I think that's about it. I know. Yeah, the crypto sector is still trying to recover from the aftershocks of the Terra implosion, with the Luna coin itself nosediving more than 40% in only 2 hours, from $4.19 to $2.49. You can see the chart right there. And it's crazy. When we're in the bull market, we always think like, what's the catalyst for the next bear market? And, you can never guess what it is. It's coming. And, you can never guess what it is. But I mean, I guess this one was this is going to be the bear market that was like, yeah, remember that was when the Terra Luna thing happened. So it's just very, very interesting. But yeah, they put travel bans on these people. So hopefully we get, some form of justice. I mean, I don't know, if people are going to get their money back, but, hopefully, something comes out of that. And I was talking to someone in the office just a few minutes before we hopped on. And, Do was the superhero of the bear market that we, were figuring that we were entering. I just remember, every other day he was buying like $125 million of Bitcoin, giving us those pumps. And then he went from like the savior of crypto to the absolute villain. Yeah. So very interesting stuff. And here we go. On that same note, one altcoin may replace Dogecoin and Shiba Inu as #1 meme coin, says analytics firm. What is that meme coin? It just might be Terra Luna or Terra Classic. In a new analysis, a sentiment analyst known as Mikachuk says that the native token of the original Terra blockchain, Luna Classic, now holds the meme king crown. Just observing the price and volume patterns, there are very similar structures in in Terra Classic right now that was happening with Doge a year or something ago. That's weirdly worded. Both had an initial run up followed by a flat consolidation, after which the real craze began. Looking into social data, a similar picture appears. So this is interesting because they're analyzing social data, which I do think is quite important. But Sentiment also knows that Terra Classic related keywords are ranked #1 and #8 on social trends, which is another sign of massive crowd attention. Why does this happen?
I don't know. I mean, when it comes to the meme coins, there's definitely a handful of people that understand digital marketing very well. They have a good handle on how to pump things across different social platforms. And apparently this is the one they picked. I mean, you can tell because all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere and everybody that's new to crypto is talking about it. Everybody that's, the Robin Hood trader, so to speak, of the last cycle is talking about Luna Classic. And it's like, why? Everybody buys, there's some kind of token burn. And I've heard, how many times I've heard they're going to do a token burn? You know how many times they told us Sheev is going to do a token burn and then, they didn't, or they do just enough to keep people hooked. And, again, if you're really into this culture, and maybe it's just because it appeals to a young culture, like if you've got $100 and turning $100 into $1,000 is a big win, and you don't care if you lose the $100, maybe this is the strategy. I don't know. But for me, it's not something I really look into and treat with a lot of attention unless, like we have to talk about it because you guys are talking about it. We have to address it. But I would not invest in this. I tend to want to invest in things that I can hold for a longer time period.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. It's just, it's funny that it's like, oh, this thing completely collapsed. Everybody buy it. Everybody buy it. It's at least the meme coins are like, you're in it for the culture, right? You're in it for the little dog. But yeah, this is just crazy.
And we need to kind of move through the rest of these stories pretty quick because we're running out of time here.
Okay, Alex Mashinsky wants to resurrect failed crypto lender Celsius as a custodian. Hey, I know we rugged all you, but hey, let us hold your crypto. At a meeting with employees held earlier this month, Mashinsky outlined a plan to rebuild Celsius with a focus on custody services. The CEO and Oren Blonstein, another Celsius executive, said they hope to encourage prospective customers to store their cryptocurrencies with them. The New York Times reported. We'll just kind of go through this. TJ, would you let them hold your crypto?
No.
Yeah, neither would I. This is absolutely insane. Hey, we took everybody's money's gone. Trust us. We'll hold your.
Yeah. I'd rather buy another version of Terra Luna than I would put it in.
100%.
To be honest, 100%.
100%. Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely insane. 0 out of 10 for that story. Everybody throwing a watch party for the Ethereum merge.
Hey,
here's where to go. Let's see here. Ethereum, the second biggest blockchain network, is scheduled to transition from proof of work to proof of stake a little after 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 a.m. BST, or whatever, Hong Kong and Singapore, for hodlers of Ether and users of Ethereum, of the Ethereum protocol. This is a monumental shift that has been years in the making. What are they going to watch is my question. It's like a watch party.
Yeah, you can. I'm sure there's a block counter, and then
And
you can see the blocks. I did this for a halving before. You're watching the blocks being solved, and all right, there's 5 blocks left. There's 4 blocks left. There's 3 blocks. Okay, on this block, that it happens. So.
Yeah, and then it's like, yay! And then, in my opinion, I do think it's either going to wind up in very, very, boring price action or a potential dump. Yeah. So very interesting. We will find out very, very, very soon. Miners say that they plan to fork Ethereum within 24 hours of the merge. I'm not even going to read this one. Basically, what they want to do is, so the miners have spent a ton of money on their equipment, right? And now it's basically going to be useless. So they're looking to fork Ethereum and keep proof of work. So it's almost like we're doing this giant upgrade. We're doing the ETH merge, going to make it much better. But we're going to go over here and keep doing it the old way if anybody wants to join us, which is very interesting. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I was talking to Justin Williams about it again this morning, and one thing a lot of people don't realize is this beacon chain that we're going to be porting to or merging to on Ethereum has been running alongside Ethereum and Ethereum client software since 2020. So you have to go backwards and make things compatible a very long way, and you'd have to be resyncing a lot of transactions and a lot of the chain. Stable coins aren't offering support for it. Exchanges and wallets generally aren't offering support for it. So I don't put a lot of stock in an Ethereum proof of work chain. Generally, what our general sentiment has been, other proof of work chains will benefit that you can mine with GPU. That's why we've seen Ravencoin. Like we've been talking about Ravencoin for a month or two, as all these miners are looking to move. Ravencoin and Ethereum Classic generally is where they're going to be putting their software. And again, these aren't big miners. These are, generally your retail miner, your hobbyist miner, your home miner, people using GPUs still to mine need to put it somewhere. So that's where that's going.
Yeah. I read that and I was like, very, very, it's just like, what, very interesting. But yeah, again, I do think the merge, and someone just said there's like 12 minutes left, so we should get a result here pretty soon. So get on TradingView and watch the Ethereum price. But this right here, Cardano becomes top crypto project by technology development. Cardano has become a top cryptocurrency project by technology development, according to the team at Contora, a platform tracking social and technological data related to cryptocurrencies. The update comes after the team behind Contora updated its data tracking algorithm and adjusted the way it was tracking Cardano's GitHub repositories. As initially, the platform was just tracking the Cardano Foundation's GitHub profile. After the adjustment, it found that Cardano is in the lead with 357 active GitHub contributors out of 3,200. Yeah, very interesting. Their developers are, a lot of developer action on Cardano, continuing to build. They're continuing to do stuff. So this is bullish in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pushing on that list a little bit. It's Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot,
Kusama, Filecoin, Status, Internet Computer, Cosmos, Decentraland, Solana, Flow, Near Protocol, Token Pocket, Chia, Gnosis, DXDAO, Helium, Ethereum Vault, Elrond, and Vega Protocol.
Interesting. And this is something somebody mentioned in the basement. That's our Twitch chat there. Another kind of sneaky thing to keep in mind for where these GPU miners could head after, that have been mining Ethereum once Ethereum moves proof of stake. Could be a lot of these things like Render, a project like Render Token, where you need to be accessing. We saw Golem Network had pumped when we looked at yesterday. That's another thing that gives access to your GPU computing power. Arweave, all these things that are crowdsourcing computing and storage and some of those kind of things. That could be the direction we see that starts to flourish as the main layer ones start going more proof of stake.
Yeah,
just a thought.
Yeah. I would agree with you there, TJ. Moving on in hyperspeed here, institutional investor bets on Cardano quadruple as Bitcoin shorts grow. I won't even get into this one really. Basically, people are very excited about Cardano, while everybody else is trying to short Bitcoin. People think Bitcoin's going to go down. People are bullish on Cardano. I'll just read this first little paragraph here. According to CoinShares Digital Asset Fund Flow report, digital asset investment products saw outflows totaling $63 million over the last week, marking the 5th consecutive week of outflows for these products. The outflows the firm added remain relatively small in size, with 99 million leaving over the last few weeks. Bitcoin, on the other hand, saw outflows of 13 million, while Binance Coin saw outflows of 900,000. I'm sorry. The week's inflows were led by short Bitcoin products, which benefit from BTC price drops. So yeah, people trying to short the heck out of Bitcoin, but still bullish on Cardano. Moving on, Chamber of Digital Commerce officially enters Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, files an amicus brief supporting Ripple. So basically what is happening here, an amicus brief is essentially bringing in and TJ, you can add on to this if you think I'm missing anything. Basically, they bring in a neutral party that isn't going to favor either one, and they kind of give a non-bias audit, I guess you can call it, or a brief, I guess is what they are actually calling it. But the Chamber of Digital Commerce, the world's leading blockchain trade organization, requests permission to file an amicus brief in the ongoing Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. While it cannot ascertain whether the sale of XRP constitutes security, the Chamber said it is interested in ensuring that the legal framework for digital assets underlying an investment contract is clear. They just want to make sure things are fair and there's no, they don't want the SEC overstepping or.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what's really interesting is they don't. Basically, we all know the SEC has screwed this up at this point, and this is now a third-party independent council basically coming in to make a recommendation on how this stuff should have been handled. So it's a power grab to get things out of the hands of the SEC, to make them not the decision maker in this case, because they've clearly fumbled the ball, so to speak, throughout this whole case. So this is, I would say, good for Ripple, bad for the SEC, because I can't imagine this council is going to Jay just said it right there. We're not going to really comment on whether the sale of XRP was a security or not, but we want to make sure basically the SEC doesn't screw this up for the rest of the industry for the rest of the time.
Exactly. And I read this and I was like, thank God. Yeah. Thank God someone's out there like, all right, SEC, we'll just make sure you're not going to ruin this for everybody forever.
Slow down.
Yeah. Calm down. So that is good to see. That was that's pretty good news. But some quick hits here. Maker raises staked Ethereum limit to reduce reliance on USDC. I'm just going to run through these headlines, TJ, because I don't want to waste too much more time here. Coinbase, unless you had something to say about that.
No, that's fine. That's what the quick hits are for. Just
all right. Coinbase can blacklist your staked Ethereum. Smart contract shows. Interesting.
That is interesting.
That's a big yikes. MoMA to sell $70 million art collection may use proceeds to buy digital art and NFTs. There we go. The MoMA getting into crypto. Let's go. We're going to see traditional art move over to crypto and NFTs. I love it. Binance CEO says the EU regulation will become a global standard. Interesting. Hopefully the EU winds up doing it right so they don't mess it up for the rest of us. And that is actually it. And we just got the ETH countdown timer. I said 12 minutes before. It's 12 hours. But guys, I think that's all we got for today's show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Shout out to the Candle Mafia and the BitSquad guys. Make sure you smash the like button on the way out. If we hit 2,000 likes, I don't know where we are, but if we hit 2,000 likes on the way out, guys, we'll give away something crazy on my channel.
We're close. We're 1766.
Oh, right, baby. Now. Hit it on the way out, guys, if you want some free NFTs or free ledger, free hat, free t-shirt. I don't know. But that's all we got for today. We'll see you guys next time. Frankie Candles out.